praises to the Most High Yahweh and His Son's name Yahushua. Watch it, learn, and stay tuned for part 3. All praises.
I believe the Indies are no more than 750 leagues west. I believe the Indies.
Alright, so I want to show you this website right here that I was put onto. It's called Manataka.org. Manataka.org. It's an American Indian Council website by American Indian Council. And so there's some links here. I want to take you right here. Let's see, right here. So it goes and says lies. Teachers tells us about Columbus. So it's about the lies that the teachers tell us about Columbus. Alright, and it goes, since the founding of the United States, every school-aged child was taught that Christopher Columbus originally named the inhabitants of the land he discovered Indians, because he mistakenly thought he found a route to the Indies. Alright, so the main part I want to get to is this part right here. The roots of the term Indian. So it says, the origin of this term is purportedly due to the circumstances of a 1400s Genoese sailor Christopher Columbus allegedly discovering a shorter oceanic route to what we are told were the lands referred to in his day as the Indies.
I believe the Indies are no more than 750 leagues west of the Canary Islands.
Was India known by its original peoples as the Indies and or India prior to 1492? No. India was not the true name as used by the people of that anomalous name in the 1400s. The etymology of the term India from Latin India, region of the Indus River. But the name didn't begin to prevail to the 1600s, from 1500 to 1600, under the Spanish and Portuguese influence. So it goes beyond the reality that the indigenous people of India did not refer to their domains as such. Even at the time of infamous Columbus, the name India was not used until the 16th century. As seen and stated by its own people, India has been called Bharat. Even in Satya Yuga, the Golden Age, the name India is derived by later invading entities from the rivers Indus, the valleys around which were the home of the early settlers. The original pre-Christian Aryan celebrants referred to the river Indus as the Sindhu. Persian invaders converted it into Hindu. The name Hindustan combines Sindhu and Hindu, and thus freely infers the land of the Hindus. Thus, at the time of Columbus, India was known by the Persian epithet variously Hindus and Hindustan. No country, land, sea, or people in the world were named India prior to 1492. Alright, so I'm going to show you right here. In this article it says, people or children of God. Some of the indigenous terms of identity expressed by the indigenous peoples of the Caribbean island that were first visited by Columbus are detailed in an original narrative that is in the public domain. Brevísima Relación de la Destrucción de las Indias by Bartholomew de las Casas, originally published in Seville in 1552. And this is the link. So I'm going to leave you the link to the website, and then in here is gonna have the link. And you could click on that link and read De La Casa's, I guess, publishing. And so it says, potpourri truly displayed in its bloody colors, or a faithful narrative of the unexplained massacres, butcheries, and all manner of cruelties that hell and malice could invent, committed by the popish Spanish party on the inhabitants of West India, together with the devastation of several kingdoms in America by fire and sword, for the space of 42 years, from the time of its first discovery by them, composed first in Spanish by Bartholomew de las Casas, a bishop there, an eyewitness of most of the barbarous cruelties, afterward translated by him into Latin, then by other hands into High Dutch, Low Dutch, French, and now taught to speak modern English. Within the narrative is an indication as to the inception of the term Indio as an ultimate referent, though in its original telling the term Indio, hence Indio, etc., indicates within context an inference to of heaven or heavenly, La Casa states. Finally, in one word, their ambition and avarice, than which the heart of man never entertained greater, and the vast wealth of those regions, the humility and patience of the inhabitants, which made their approach to these lands more facile and ease, did much promote the business, whom they so despicably contemned that they treated them. I speak of things which I was an eyewitness of, without the least fallacy, not as beasts, which I corely wish they would, but as the most abject dung and filth of the earth, and so solicitous they were of their life and soul, that the above mentioned number of people died without understanding the true faith or sacraments. And this also is as really true as a present narration, which the very tyrants and cruel murderers cannot deny without the stigma of a lie, that the Spaniards never received any injury from them, but that they rather reverenced them as persons descended from heaven, unto that they were compelled to take up arms, provoked thereunto by repeated injuries, violent torments, and unjust butcheries. So it goes on to say, in the Latin language of ecclesiastics and royalty of the time, the people or children of God, as Spaniards often referred to the indigenous, translates freely as los niños de la Indio, and consequently los niños de la Indios, more literally, children of God, Indio, freely of God.
So I think there's another way to look at that whole issue of what is Indian and what, the word, or what we call ourselves, is en Dios, meaning in God, that the people that they encountered were godlike, were very pure, and that en Dios became Indio, which became Indian. When you take prisoners, you write down their names and give them a number. That way you can keep track of them. issue of the Holocaust, I think, is really ironic because so much literature has been expended in the pursuit of exposing Hitler and the Holocaust and the terrible tragedy that occurred with the Jews, where 6 million people perished. What most people in this country fail to realize is that it's a little known part of history, but it is a reality. And nobody's ever really addressed it. Nobody's ever really talked about the Holocaust here. I mean, there were conservative figures, 19 million Indian people living in North America. 19 million. They are gone. They were gone. Killed. Murdered. But 19 million people. That's not a Holocaust.